Hello, I'm Kerry Gorgone, and this is the Best Work Management Show by Appfire. Today, we're going to talk about a new and very exciting idea called Cre8 Day and how it can help you make your team more engaged and productive. And to talk about that idea is Michelle Bartonico, Senior Strategist and Project Manager at Trinity University. She's a certified project management professional, completed the Google Project Management Program and the Search Engine Optimization Specialization from UC Davis, continuing and professional education. I can't even say it. I'm impressed that you did it. And Michelle has a book coming out January 24th. It's available for pre-order now, called Stakeholder Engagement Essentials You Always Wanted to Know. So you can pick that up at vibrantpublishers.com. But Michelle knows a lot about getting work done. So stick around because we're going to talk about Cre8 Day.
Appfire Presents the Best Work Management Show by Appfire.
Okay, Michelle, what's Cre8 Day?
Okay, so Cre8 Day is a concept that my counterpart and I came up with probably 4 or 5 years ago at this point. And it was in my former role. So it was when I was assistant vice president of marketing and communications. So it was over the marketing communications office. And we had a steady stream of work all the time. And it just felt daunting sometimes. And in a room full of creative people, you wanted to make sure that they had some way to pull a resource valve and say, I need imagination, I need creativity, I need to be engaged and feel like people care about me being able to continuously learn. And that was something that was part of our team culture anyway, just lifelong learners and creatives. And so we came up with this idea called Cre8 Day. And what it was every member of the team needed to take at least 4 hours up to 8 hours once a month of time for themselves to be creative.
Did it have to be like all at once, or could you do it a little at a time?
We liked them to do it all at once. So they would take a half day or they would take the full day, and they'd be, in our case, on campus at a university. And they would just have a little sign out their door that said, I'm on Cre8 Day. Or they would wear, hold on.
There's a t-shirt.
They have a t-shirt. Nothing says real like a t-shirt. And they would have a t-shirt and just they would wear it with pride, and they would begin whatever that they were going to do. So
I want a Cre8 Day t-shirt. I have like I can't see it. I have an Appfire t-shirt, which I also like.
I think this would be a nice add to your collection. So yeah, so people would do whatever was inspiring to them. And for example, one person went to, again, we're on a college campus, so that's nice. But one person took an old chair and went to the art department and refurbished the chair. Another person decided that they wanted to really teach the entire office basic fundamentals of Photoshop. So they held a workshop, and anybody else who wanted to take that time for Cre8, they would work on that, and they would learn from the master Photoshop person in our office. And it could be anything from scrapbooking to cleaning your office and reorganizing your office, which would be, I think,
sounds tempting.
Very nice. But
studies have shown that like decluttering can actually open up space for you to be creative, because some people feel like hemmed in by clutter.
Yep. And just the space to do that, the space to clean your space is what we were trying to offer. And we really tried to weave it into the culture, all the way from recruitment of new team members, just through the entire lifespan of your time at Trinity. So it was.
No, it didn't have to be work related. Is that what I'm hearing? Like, obviously, refurbishing a chair is probably not work related if you're in marketing, but
right? No,
but it could be.
True. No, it did not have to be work related. So we had someone who took the day to do a family scrapbooking album. So it really was just something that was meaningful for you, or that you wanted to try. Again, we're on a college campus, so that's always nice. But somebody went to the maker space and did some 3D printing. They wanted to figure out how to do it. And it's something that takes 4 hours. You can't just go over there for 30 minutes and go look at something and hope you can do it the next day. So we really wanted to give people people who are more prone to wanting like that tactile experience. We wanted them to be able to choose what they wanted to do. I took piano lessons from a member of the team who was willing to teach me piano for once a month. And that was something I did. So it's just anything that was really just inspiring to you and creative. And
You still play?
no, but I have notes. I have notes that are in my desk actually over there about how I'm supposed to be practicing and how I'm supposed to be playing. But no, I don't. But
So a couple things.
It was a great bonding experience too with your team member.
But if you did it with your team members, right? Because you could do it by yourself, but you could do it as a group if there was something a bunch of people wanted to do.
Yep.
So what were you looking for out of it as like a team leader in terms of, did you want to help your team kind of reclaim some of their creative juices? Did you want to help them level up their skills if they wanted? Was it just about morale, which then feeds productivity? Like what was your objective with it?
I'll say it's definitely a little bit of all of the things that you mentioned, but first and foremost, it was forcing people to take a break and reclaim their creativity by choosing what they wanted to do with that free time. And the immediate byproduct of that was people were so engaged and I think appreciative that the company was willing to invest the time for them to reclaim that space, that oftentimes they would end up doing things together. Oftentimes they would practice skills, or one person would go up to another team member and say, hey, would you like to do a create day with me? And would you be willing to teach me how to do InDesign? And they, sure. And so it ended up being so organic that sometimes it'd be something really personal, but other times it would be just a new skill that they wanted to learn. And again, that was so baked into the culture of lifelong learning that upstream, it would be Create Day would be used as a recruitment tool for new employees. And so even when we recruited people in their onboarding packets, we would give them a little sign, we would give them a shirt, like, and so it was like, it was an expectation that we cared about you being creative and you learning, and people would just take it and run with it.
It has to be top down though, right? Because I could definitely see people saying it's a thing, but then making it difficult for you to actually do it when you wanted to do it, depending on what else was going on. So how did you make it clear to everyone involved in supervising workflow that this was something to be prioritized?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've definitely been on the receiving end of some of that. So two ways. One, it was of course mandatory. It was as
Mandatory fun.
it, right? Mandatory as you could make it. The expectation was that everybody in the department would take this. And what we really wanted to strike a balance of is we didn't want it to seem like, oh, the managers are all taking Create Day, and so now crap's rolling downhill and now I have double work because they're off that day. And so the expectation was also that in your weekly or your biweekly team meetings with your direct reports, if you've noticed that they haven't taken a Create Day, ask them why. Ask them what you can do to move hurdles for them so that they can actually take Create Day. If you need to absorb some more work for that day so that they can take one next week, do it. So it was a push and pull where we would take it, but also actively ask, we've noticed you haven't taken a Create Day. Is there a particular reason for that? We really want you to take these. How can we make that happen for you?
So what do you need to get this off the ground? Like, let's say you're distributed, because a lot of people are right now. How can you get this started and make it work for like a remote hybrid environment?
Yeah, so the first thing would, of course, be to articulate it's a change at the heart of it. So what is the change and why is it happening? And let everyone know what that is, and make sure you've got buy-in from your leadership team and your vice president or whoever is in charge of the full office, right? Because they're technically investing money in the time that you're not spending, quote unquote, working.
Fair enough.
So, so all of that, of course, I'm going to just make an assumption that there's some buy-in there. Once there's some buy-in, give people a hybrid of those digital and maybe more tangible tools. So we also had things where our out of offices had little animated little unicorns, and it would say, we're on a Create Day. However, if you need me, here's my direct line or here's my GChat. I am available, but I'm doing this and this is what this is. So we use it as a way to also educate back the university. And we definitely had some quite a few people say, what is this? Like, I wish we could do something like that in our department. And we said, well, maybe
You
you
can.
can.
Yeah.
So so what we would do is we would have it really branded every touch point. So if somebody came into us, or in this case, if it was Zoom, we would say, hey, I'm going to take a Cre8 day tomorrow. And so we would articulate that pretty clearly up front to just help people not be in a bind when if they needed something. And then we would also be available if there was an emergency. But oftentimes people just respected it.
I love this, and I'm going to suggest that we do this. Although Appfire honestly is so supportive of people's work-life balance and stuff that any day could be Cre8 day, I think. But
There you go.
yes, which I love. So if you'd like more episodes of the Best Work Management Show by Appfire, you can find those at hub.appfire.com. Michelle has also been a frequent guest on the Best Project Portfolio Management Show, which you can also find on the Hub. And if you work on projects, get Michelle's book coming out January 24th, 2023. You can find that over at vibrantpublishers.com. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.